broadcast live.
Coming to you live.
We're live
From the basement of an abandoned training facility where we talk about fighting, training, and events. It's the Fight Mixer Show on the Three Beards Podcast, where you can hear about all the local and world combat sports happenings. Get ready. It's time to gear up and square up because we're going live.
And now,
Broadcasting live.
We will broadcast live
with Craig, Chris, Austin, and Matt on the Fight Mixer Show.
Welcome to the Fight Mixer Show on the Three Beards Podcast. My name is Craig. Along with me is Chris, Austin, producer Matt, and with us is Arlene Blencowe from Australia. How are you? Is it Blencowe or Blencowe? I've heard both ways.
It's Blencowe.
Blencowe. Okay, I just want to make. So I apologize for that. Yeah, and then we have a guest.
Like, g'day, mate.
Yeah, then we have our guest host with us on Jessica Borga. So thank you for joining both of us tonight. So let's just start out. We finally have MMA coming back to us this Saturday. So I'm excited. Either of you actually going to pay for the pay-per-view portion of it, or?
Yeah, I am. I know I am. I'm going to be expecting to actually take a trip over there and see if anything's happening after.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. I was looking at it. I've got, I'm definitely, ESPN Plus. I've got that. So I'm going to be watching the early prelims, preliminaries, and then we're talking, unfortunately, because we're still in the quarantine, all this lockdown, some of the things, there's not really a place to go. And so a lot of us are like, okay, I want to pay the $90, but I'm like, it's so nice when you can have 3 or 4 people with you to split the cost.
That's what I was going to say. Get the group.
Yep. And so, unless you just want to call everybody extended family, it's kind of, that's kind of how that works. So, how about you? Are you going to watch it down there on your side, Arlene?
Sorry, I've my mic's just gone a little bit funny. Okay, that's better. It sounds better.
There we go.
Yeah, properly.
That's okay. That's like I said. I mean, if you need to reset, you can do that too. I mean, that happens sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we could stall. I can figure it out. Yeah, I mean, if you need to reset, go for it.
I was going to say, I can hear a little bit of noise as well.
Yeah, sounds like tapping.
Like a crackling thing. Yep. So.
Yeah.
So we'll get that figured out. So I'm excited. I mean, this month is it's starting to get jam packed with fights, which is cool.
Yeah.
So,
except for Bellator.
Yeah, what is that? What's going on?
The last thing I heard from my manager was the possibility of July. So I'm hoping it's sooner because they see everyone else doing it and how it's going, and it's actually going pretty smoothly. I had 2 teammates that fought over the weekend, both won title belts, the Amis, of course, but they did really good. The promotion did really good.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't know if you just heard the question. We're everybody's coming back except Bellator is suddenly, they're MIA. It's like nobody, Yeah. Do you have any idea why that's taken a while for Bellator to come back?
I'm not too sure. I didn't realize there were fights happening in the US at the moment.
Yeah, we actually have
not really
Saturday.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no. So here in Australia, so we're not sort of hearing much. There's not much happening here in Australia at all, sports-wise. We've stopped everything, so nothing's come back yet. So that's heaps cool that America's come back though.
Somewhat. Yeah. We can't have the large stadium, but
no fans. It's just gonna be fighters fighting. But we've got 3 events coming up within a week.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that here, like back home, but that's awesome. So I'm not too sure. My manager manager has been in contact with Bellator, and yeah, I'm sort of being told to keep training. My next fight's sort of still scheduled to sort of hopefully happen towards the end of the year. So yeah, I'm staying ready. So hopefully, yeah, September, October, we'll see Bellator back. That's what I think.
So what have you been really doing, during this whole time? I mean, I know you always see the videos. Everybody's using milk jugs, using the dog, using whatever they have around the house. Have you just been doing a lot of home training, or have there been gyms?
The mic's just gone.
Issues.
Yeah, I know. I thought. I mean, even with the issues, I mean, how cool is it that we're talking live to somebody in Australia? I mean, just the modern day.
It was crazy.
Years ago, you'd have to be watching CNN or somebody, with the little pixelated, stuff. And now, I mean, here we are. We have this thing, and we've got, fighters that we can actually talk to from Australia. I mean, even though it's a little frustrating, you can't hear us. It's like, yeah. So, but pose that question to you in the meantime. So, what are you doing personally? Since, I mean, I know we've been checking out gyms,
Yeah, luckily I have trainers that have their own stuff in their own house, so like they can do the one-on-one still. So technically, it's not a gym that's open. So I'm still getting the training that I need, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's just. I don't know. I've got to go make sure that we set the alarm.
Yeah,
Exactly. Only so many people.
Yeah. Can you hear us now, Arlene?
Yeah, sorry. It was just super crackly, so I couldn't make out what you were saying.
No, I say, what are you doing in this meantime, especially with all this lockdown, of finding some way of training? I mean, because I know some places there's no gym, but there's a lot of people doing home workouts. Is that what you've been doing in this meantime?
Yeah, so I was actually in America like 5 weeks ago. So when I came back to Australia, I had to do 2 weeks of quarantine at home. So I'm lucky that I've got a gym set up at home, like full mats and like all my equipment. So I've just was doing training by myself, but restrictions have eased a little bit. So this morning, this morning I had pad work with my coach, and just sort of getting in some wrestling drills with my wrestling coach. But yeah, just staying active, getting my 2 sessions in a day, and staying fit.
Well, how'd that quarantine go? I mean, I know flying back, I mean, was that a mandatory via Australia, or did you self-quarantine yourself?
No, it was mandatory. I was lucky though, because the day after I flew home, that's when they started the hotel quarantines. So at least when I flew home, I was able to self-quarantine at home in my house rather than
well, that's nice.
Yeah.
In a hotel.
Yeah.
Oh, so they put people in hotels up there to quarantine, and they didn't let them go home?
Sorry, that was really crackly again.
I said, so it's a mandatory quarantine in a hotel now?
Yeah, so they're still doing the mandatory quarantines. There's been a lot on the news about it. Actually, I had a girlfriend of mine who's a boxer. She came back from America and she did the quarantines in the hotel. So she made it on the news with all the workouts that she was doing. Just staying active. But yeah, a lot of people find it really, really tough to quarantine in the hotel room. I
can imagine.
I'm trying not to plagiarize, because I watched a video that you had on with the guy from Australia too. So I'm trying not to steal his questions. Oh, we just lost her. I'll try to say that one there. It was one of those. It was kind of, the fight competition isn't as stacked in Australia as it is over here in the United States. Mm-hmm. So I was going to ask on that same thing. It's like, I know, like from that intro, it's kind of like, so I'll kind of pose it in a way to you, Jessica. So now, you want to prepare obviously for the female fighters. Do you find any benefit in finding, male competition, about at the same class stuff, to where you're fighting in a way a tougher opponent, so that way when you get back, the thing, it comes back, because there's this ones. I've always done that when I'm in martial arts. For the 3 months I did it, I wanted to fight the black belts and the brown belts, I didn't want to fight the people that, like my competition, because I'm not going to learn enough from the white and the yellow.
Absolutely. I've always tried to excel, getting ready for whichever fight, whoever I'm fighting against, whatever their specialty is or what they're good or most, the better at. Whatever. I try to go with the people that are best at it. So no matter what, I always try to up it. Yeah, myself, and get to really good wrestlers, always trying to get my game up to the next level.
Okay. And Arlene, what I'd asked her is, because that interview you had talked about how it's hard to find your level of competition to train with down there in Australia. So you have to go sometimes to the other locations to find fighters to, train with. So a lot of times you end up, competing against, the other male competitors to train for that. And I was asking, do you find yourself, you enjoy it more when you go after the people that are a tougher competition? You find yourself being better trained for when you actually go back to getting ready for your level?
She can't hear us. You see that? On the chat, it says she can't hear us.
That's too bad.
Time travel, man.
I wonder if she's so far away.
That's probably what it is.
Message with her, just have her close it all out and come back in, see if that would happen. But all right, yeah. So
what? You both fight for Bellator. How do we set a fight up with you guys? You're both the same fight class.
Yeah, I'm ready anytime. I'm literally like it's we're in there for the same reason, and I will fight whoever to make it to the top.
She said whoever.
I will fight Cyborg tomorrow too.
There you go.
I just want to get in there. Like I love what I do, and I love fighting, and I cannot stand having time off from fighting. I absolutely love what I do. So.
Now,
and I train with guys all the time. I don't get any girls to train with, so I do have to go elsewhere as well to get girls to train with because technically our bodies do work different. We're usually more flexible. We usually, do jiu-jitsu and wrestling a little bit different than the guys. So the strength of the guys does help, but women, it's a different. We usually come with a little bit more aggression, even with training. So it's a little different, and you need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Austin, about sparring with female. You want to share a little story of how your girlfriend pretty much almost put you in a KO?
So, what was it? The first night we were, I'm not gonna hurt her. I'm obviously like over twice her weight. I'm letting her do what she wants, and she cheated. I'm gonna admit it.
No. He said, honey, try this.
No. Listen, no. She cheated because first of all, she poked my eye. So I was like, what are you doing? Then she grabbed my arm, and I was like, all right, be careful. Pull my arm and stretch. I was like, now you're doing an arm bar. And like the rest of the day, I was like, ow, my arm is killing me.
And then what about last night?
Last night, I was playing with her. I got tired of it. Like, all right, so I got up and I was just like, fake ground and pound. You're done. And then she kicks me off the bed. And I got a concussion almost last night. She kicked me off and I fell on the ground. She doesn't play, man. I tell you what. I'm trying to tell her to get into it. She's like, nah, I'm okay. I was like, you need to get into fighting. Like,
yeah. So Arlene, I'm not sure if you can hear us okay right now.
I can now, yes.
Okay, yes, perfect. No, what I was asking earlier was then, with the competition, you find, since you had said in that interview that you were having to come over to the States to find a lot of people to train with because there wasn't enough of your level of competition back home. Yep. So do you still find that you train more with the guys, in the higher levels, basically in lieu of that until you can get over to the U.S.?
I do have a group of girls now that are my weight division that, like I said, specialize in like different areas. So like I've got, good wrestlers at featherweight and strikers and that. So yeah, which is what I've been using for the last few fight camps. But this next fight, obviously my opponent's probably going to be a little bit stronger than my previous one. So I think I'll be stepping it up and I'm always training with guys anyway, but yeah, just really pushing it with some guys.
So when is your next fight supposed to be scheduled, and where is it going to be at?
I'm not too sure on the details yet, but yeah, we're sort of aiming towards the end of the year. Nothing's been set in stone. So I was sort of hoping for June, July, but yeah, I think it's going to be towards the end of the year.
Okay. So let's start off the first question that we're going to ask you. I've watched multiple fights with you, and then all the commentators are saying how you're just a mother that just wanted to fight. Like, what made you just want to start fighting?
There's I've always been a tomboy. There's that sort of wild. I was a bit of a wild teen growing up, and that so I always thought I was a little bit tough. It's funny because the more I've got into fighting and training, it's kind of like the less tough I think I am. Like, I don't know, it's funny, when I used to have fights at school. I remember having to stick up for my sister. She'd get picked on, and I don't know, in fights in schoolyard and that. But yeah, there's nothing like stepping across, like into a cage, across from a person that's actually been training to fight. It's pretty humbling. You sort of, I used to get around thinking I was tough, and now that I am tough, I don't think I'm tough.
Yeah.
So, one of the questions I had for you too is who gave you the nickname Anger Fist, or where did that originate from?
It came from my boxing days. There was a Anger Fist group. I really liked the Mega Mix. It was something that I came out to for one of my amateur boxing fights. And we sort of didn't really have it as a fight name, but when I started MMA, because I came from the boxing background, it kind of just stuck that I had Anger Fist. And then, Anger Fist sort of just came, and it's just stuck. So, it fits. It's kind of a bit scary, I guess.
I'm looking at your records. I mean, I think sometimes you think you're still boxing. You get KO'd by punches. You like to take it you like to punch, don't you?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of my fights, like I talked about the fight with Sinead Kavanagh. She's a boxing background as well, and we pretty much just had a boxing fight with 4-ounce gloves in the MMA cage. Like, we didn't wrestle. I got through one kick, which caught the end of my foot and hurt it a little bit. So I was like, I'm not going to do that again, and just kept punching the whole time.
That's awesome.
I think. One of your, you probably have your favorite fight, but my favorite fight so far I've seen was when you fought, I think it was Amanda Bell. I think it took longer to introduce you guys to fight. I mean, it was 23-second knockout. I was watching like, what just happened? Like, and she had a 5.5-inch reach on you. I was like, wow.
The commentators just getting warmed up.
Yep, I know that was great. You had one that's like, ooh, that was pretty much the pay-per-view I just paid for the Tyson fight. Arlene just KO him and like,
yeah, worth it.
I know, to think all those hours of training, crazy. Like, you've got to put in the hard work like that, but then you walk away with a 22-second win, and you're like, oh, okay. But I was obviously happy. Surprised though, the first couple of punches I didn't feel like I actually connected fully, and then she went down. I was like, oh, okay. So
that's awesome.
Happy. Obviously, it's a record within Bellator now, the fastest female stoppage. So hopefully, I hold that one for a while.
That's awesome.
But and kind of that's spring off that one too, especially like a 23-second. So what goes through the mind like a fighter? So, you can answer that thing. If something like that happens, like you go up against an opponent, and either you lose quickly, or you take out somebody. I mean, do you feel like, man, that was a lot of training for nothing, or do you go like, see, all that hard work paid off because I just took him out like that?
I have 7 first round.
I have a. I don't know. No, I'm pretty humbling with like all my wins and stuff like that too. So I don't let it get to my head. So I I train like Jess said before, every fight the same. Prepare for anything, and whatever happens in there happens in there. So.
I mean, of course, you're happy about it. Like, I mean, I'm always respectful of like my opponents as well. I try to be humble as well. But it's kind of like my first amateur fight. I want to say it was a 10-second knockout, And I was like, I mean, it was my first amateur fight. So I was like, are we going to keep going? Like, can we stand back up? I was ready to keep going because it's kind of at that moment you are pumped up and ready to go. So you can't really calm yourself down in the moment. So there's one little thing.
Yeah, one of our, what really kind of started our, little Fight Mixer show was Debbie. I mean, our biggest fan. Her question is, what is the hardest part before a fight for you, Arlene, and then Jessica too?
Sorry, what was that question?
What's the hardest part before a fight? What are you guys going through and stuff?
I wouldn't say there's the hardest part. Like it's all, like once upon a time, I guess it was like, all the weight cut. Like I used to hate cutting weight, but I've got all that down pat now. I wouldn't say it's the hardest part of anything. I guess it depends. The last few fights, everything's fallen into place, so there wasn't a hardest part. But I mean, making your mental state's the right way. You come into a fight, physically prepared, probably, hopefully you're not carrying any injuries. It's all, it's not so much a hardest part. It's just getting everything all to fall into place, so you can get in there. Feeling good.
So what do we need to get? No, I was going to say, what do we need to do to get an Anger Fist Black Widow Bellator round?
Was it Bellator to set it up? I guess. I mean,
I said just to see, it'd be the same fight. Like I said, it'd be one of those. Just from watching the different fights, I mean, I think it would be great competition.
An amazing competition.
I think it'd be one of those. There wouldn't be the bad blood type thing. It would just be, you'd see two.
We're both in there for the same reason. Yeah, we just want to fight. We love what we do, and
for sure,
want to get in the fight. So.
Definitely. I don't think that there doesn't need to be a bad blood for fighting. I don't know, those sorts of people that need to, hate my pain and cause all beef, whatever. So I could sit here and have a coffee with you, and then we'll go fight.
That's
You're awesome.
I'm the same exact way. That's why my last opponent, Amber, she was like, I think the first one out of all my fights that I've had that was a little disrespectful. But she was real nice afterwards. But it was just
show.
I hear you.
What you were talking about being humble. I mean, it's very humbling.
So how do we get this interview to Bellator and drop it in their mailbox? How do we get it to Bellator?
I don't know. As soon as Bellator gets back open going.
Yeah, that's the same thing. It's just, like I said, I'm still amazed just with how UFC gung ho. I mean, Dana White has been doing
their own island.
Yeah.
If that's not determination, I don't know what is. Okay.
Yeah, he was almost starting up a reality, one of those reality shows. This is the Fight Island. Fly in, battle, get out. Now we've just got that without fans. I mean, I don't see why Bellator can't do it. So Florida's open for business. Bring it over here. Bring it over here.
That would be awesome. I haven't fought in my hometown in a while.
Yeah.
Not that I could have fans there.
So Arlene, you obviously a Bellator fighter. Are you allowed to fight? You also fought for Australian FC and Legend MMA. Can you still fight with them along with Bellator, or are you strictly Bellator now?
I wouldn't fight in another promotion. I have had the opportunities to have boxing fights. Because my ultimate goal is to become the Bellator world champion, and then go back and regain my boxing world titles and hold the two at the same time. But at the moment, just with my MMA, obviously it's a lot of training, and it's hard to try and compete at such a high level with both of them. So my full focus at the moment is MMA, and again, all my sort of focus is on Bellator too. So I wouldn't jump on another promotion or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question was posed right there. Is there been any thoughts?
Not to mention, actually.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. So not to mention, the last time I fought on Legends, he actually didn't pay me. So
wow.
Still out of that fight.
No.
No more speaking of that ever again. No more Legends.
All right.
Promoters skip out like that, or that's a first? I mean, I'm sure they do it. Just promoters.
It's the first time. Oh, not the first. I think it, obviously has happened in that. But this guy, James McSweeney, former UFC fighter, I'm pretty sure he was.
I'm calling him out.
UFC fighter, I can't remember. Yeah, I will. You still owe me
I
money.
didn't
And
get
everyone else that put on that card.
Call him out too.
I'm gonna get him on, and then we're gonna bring you back on, and then we'll duke it out.
So was it in the States? Did you have to fly over here and you just didn't get paid, or it was over there? And
No, it was here in Australia. I actually fought Janae Harding on that card. So yeah, like that, like I got a good win and a good finish and a good highlight reel and that. But I mean, I don't do this stuff for free.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what Amy was for.
wow.
Yeah, so it was just a shame though because there was a lot of talk beforehand. You know, I had like Tai Two of Us, a good friend of mine. He actually fought James, and he'd warned me against fighting on his promotion. But this man, there was a lot of messages I sent back and forth because I told him that I was worried about not being paid, and he's swore on his daughter and everything. Like, and that's just a no-go. So
Wow.
yeah, he promised me he'd pay me. Yeah, he like swore black and blue on his kid's life and everything, and then skipped town and didn't pay me or the other 20 fighters on the card. 21 fighters on the card.
My God.
20 fighters? Oh wow! I mean, that's a whole lot of people to have beef with. They know how to fight. That's a whole lot.
Yeah.
Hey, you got I got one fighter. I got 20.
Jesus.
How do you keep going if you have that many people that you owe? I'm like, how do you get anybody to fight for you after that?
The people that want to fight bad enough, I guess, they just do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they take a gamble. I might get paid today. I might not. So,
wow. I'm not, man. Oh man.
I wouldn't. I mean, I like fighting and all, but
I'm free.
Wow.
Once you've been paid for it, you don't want to go back. I mean, like at the end of the day, I got a win in my win column, and Janae got some good. Like, I mean, Janae's she fought me. She's fought some other good fighters that put her on the path, obviously, to then get later on signed to Bellator and that. So yeah, there was positives to take from it. So
there you go.
Not all a loss.
Now a little bit, like I said, you were training, for Team Australia, for the boxing. Now did you win any of the like medals in that one? I couldn't find anything on that. I know like one of the photos shows you with the 2 belts. So I mean, obviously, it's pretty easy to see you had a pretty storied boxing career.
Yeah. I haven't had. So I was an amateur boxer for 2 years. New South Wales champion. What else? I won a gold at Arafura Games, but I turned professional after that. And on my 3rd fight, that's when I won my 2 world titles for boxing. That was when I also started MMA. So I sort of been jumping. I had been jumping between the two. But yeah, then my focus was on MMA.
Nice.
And that's kind of ties into our question that was posed up there. Have you considered the next step, throwing those gloves to the side and going just
bare knuckles?
Bare knuckle boxing.
I actually had a promoter. When was that? I was a couple of years ago now. Approached me about the bare knuckle, and I was definitely interested in it for sure. That was back then, but now obviously got a better contract with Bellator. I'm sort of like, I like my teeth. I don't know if it's worthwhile for the amount of money that I'm paying me to possibly lose my teeth. But who knows? Like, I like the idea of it, but yeah, I know, we'll see.
So,
no, go ahead.
So Jessica obviously is here in Florida in the States. When you have to fight over here in the States, are you here like a week early to get adjusted to our time zone, or how's that work?
Not usually. They usually still fly you in. I've been flown in on the day of weigh-in, which I was surprised I was not like taken out of the airport when I was cutting weight on that one. But it was not a good trip. But most of the time it's like a day before weight.
Promoters are cheap. Yeah, they'll get you there the day of, right? They get you there the day.
And then most of the time, they will put you on a freaking flight the next morning as early as they possibly freaking can.
Yeah.
So I usually was the last fight. I've been towards the end of the card almost all my amateur and as I've been pro, I've been in. I want to say the main event a couple times, but So I'm fighting at like midnight, 1 o'clock, depending on the time zone that I'm in. And then getting on a plane and have to be at the airport at like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. It sucks.
So when you're at the end of the cards, you have to fight to stay warm. Like they tape you up, and then you're just sitting around in the locker room, and then the room, and like, oh my God, is this? It might go a little faster. There's a couple knockouts, but how do you just stay warm? You just got to focus on staying warm.
You just don't want to warm up too quick. And that's the main thing, is just waiting to, calm yourself before the storms. It's not too bad. It's just the wait. It's the different time zones. I've fought, 2 hours difference. So I technically fought 11 o'clock their time, but it was 1 o'clock in the morning my time. So that kind of stuff. You just got to fix your time that you sleep way ahead of that fight as much as you can. You got to get used to it.
So, Arlene, how about for you? How's have you had pretty any horror stories from your travels, just where just like, man, I can't believe they did this to me on the travel?
Yeah, I'm the same. When you go through the airport, like I remember actually, I fought a bantamweight when I fought in China on the AFC card, and so I was water loading for the flight over, and 2.5 gallons of water a day. So I'm drinking on the plane, and the plane was about to take off, and I'm like, oh my God, because every 20 minutes I'm rushing to the bathroom to pee. And the plane was stuck on the tarmac for ages, and I was like, oh my God, I need to go. So I literally got up, and then the flight announcers on the mic, "Please sit down." And I'm like, what made it worse was I was actually in the middle seat, so the poor man sitting in the aisle seat, I was like, oh my God, I need to get out. Let me out.
I was just about to ask you that. I was like, I sure hope she had an end seat, because I'm that guy. I'd be looking at you like, are you serious? You gotta go again. Come on, let me just switch seats with you.
Again, every 20 minutes for the whole flight.
Oh man.
And some of them flights from
And then what made it worse was
when
I landed in China. So when I landed in China, where we were staying was 40 minutes from the airport, and but we actually caught it in peak hour traffic, which slowed things right up. And
Oh no.
I was sitting in the car, and I remember looking at my coach, thinking, "Oh my God, I'm going to wet myself in the car." And I'm like, I don't think. I was just like, "Oh, please don't," because then it's going to be the laughing stock of the gym. So anyway, the taxi driver stopped. I was like, "Oh, just stop here." He goes, "Oh no, it's the market. The toilets would be horrible." He stopped at a BMW dealership, and I was like, "Oh, okay, perfect." So I literally rushed in, flung the door open, and forgetting straight away that they have pit toilets. Like I was in China, I've looked at it, but then I didn't care because I was like, "I'll just pee anyway." So yeah,
That's awesome.
Water loading, it's horrible.
That's great.
Yeah, no, my God, yeah, that's I just
Oh my God.
it's one of those, you can walk in, just the first thing is like, what do I'm screw it. I'm going for it. No, that's awesome. Well, so a couple things. So is there anything that you want to plug? Like, if you have your own gear, your own site, we want to make sure that you get that in here too, before we wrap things up.
Yeah, I suppose I'll just shout out to my sponsors. I wasn't prepared for this one, but my sponsors, Muscle Bros, AH Glass Fencing, Sparkling White Smile, all my training gear, Shogun Martial Arts. Actually, I have a list here. Actually, there's an American company, June Gear. They've jumped on board the last few fights. So I'll give them a shout out because they're my American sponsors. I'll say hello to you guys. Shout out to my kids too, Kayla and Kian.
That's awesome.
That was the other thing I was going to ask you, is like, how, were the kids there with you during quarantine? Or were it just like you?
No.
That sucks.
Yeah, I was just at home by myself. So, because my partner was still working, so he couldn't be in quarantine. And then my kids, they wouldn't either because obviously I was just from America. So, yeah, it was just by myself. My son was a little bit bummed that he couldn't give me a hug or a kiss for a month because I was away for 2 weeks. And then in quarantine for 2 weeks. So he's like, it's going to be a month before I hug and kiss you.
Wow.
Yeah, the doing the remote, FaceTime and stuff just isn't quite the same. It's just as the thing. I mean, Chris,
It does help though.
It
Yes.
helps.
It helps. It's just not the same.
It's not the
That's
same.
actually the hardest part of training. Now that I go back to that, that's the hardest part is being away from your kids or kids.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
sisters. That's the hardest part is because you got to get that training in, so you miss a lot of time with them.
It's true.
Wow.
Yeah, no. But Arlene, we want to thank you, very much for taking the time to come in here. I said you're welcome anytime. I mean, if you want to come back on, like I said, you just let us know, and you're more than welcome.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. Just give us
Thank
just
you.
call. Like I said, yeah, it's been a pleasure. Like I said, I'm sorry about the audio difficulties there at the beginning. We like it to be seamless for you. So, but I really appreciate you sticking it out and toughing through that
No
part.
worries.
So thank you again. Best of luck
Thank you
to
so
you.
much.
All the best
When-
for training, Jess.
Yeah.
both of you that Bellator decides to get back at it, instead of just holding off. So, just keep training. Let us know when you finally have a date on your thing. And like I said, we would love to get that heads up so that way we can watch it and root both of you on it to get in there.
Awesome.
So
Thanks heaps, guys.
Thank you again. Have a great rest of the day. Well, Jessica, appreciate it.
Thank
Hopefully-
you for having me back on.
Oh, yeah. Always.
Hopefully we can make that happen. I mean, hopefully we just drop somewhere to Bellator and they hear about it.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely I'm sure someone will see something on one of our pages or what.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
hoping. I mean, it doesn't really matter who. Like I said, it's the next one. But
You just want a victim. It doesn't matter who. You just want a victim.
But much
Yeah.
respect to her. I really like her personality. She seems like a good woman, a good fighter. So.
Yeah, that was watching these fights. Like you said, just the two of you. I mean, I think it would be a really good fight. And
We put on a show.
No, I mean, so how bad do you think you'd beat her?
You're gonna put on the spot.
Well, I intend to beat every single person I stand against in the cage. But
Good answer.
Yeah, that's a good one. So, well, awesome. I said, shout out, to anything for you, Jessica, while you're here as well.
yeah, it's so hard without a list, and I feel so bad if I forget something. CBD store in Lakeland and Winter Haven. They are great supporters, amazing sponsors. Really appreciate them. B&L Tire, they've been there from the get-go. Chiropractic Center in Lakeland helps me in more ways than I can even say. They're amazing. And
Awesome.
Loving Auto, they're great. Warhammer Fightwear, you can get the Black Widow gear. There's a lot more of my sponsors. You can go to my page. I post about them all the time. So I definitely give them shout outs. They are more than appreciated. I love them.
Awesome. Well, everybody, take a moment, follow them both. Arlene Blencowe and Jessica Borga. I said, help us get Bellator back at it. Quit taking a nap. Let's get back to fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Awesome. Well, Jessica, thank you again. Really appreciate it. We'll be in touch. Like I said, we'll definitely have you on again, at some point down the road here too. So,
Sounds good.
all right. You too. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. This episode.
This concludes
nice.
the episode. The episode.
About to take over for you.
Yeah. All of a sudden I'm gone. Yeah. BrotsBeardCares.com. Check him out. Get 20% off your order when you use the promo code 3Beards, and that's with capital B. Nanny Cakes, Nancy Burke, 407-923-2898.
98.
Nanny Cakes, 407. Mention 3Beards Podcast, and you're going to get 15% off that order.
Yep.
And don't forget, Brats is also free shipping on those orders. So, take the time, give them some support. Check us out on 3beardspodcast.com. Check Fight Mixer. Check Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Merch. Buy some merch.
Yep. Same thing goes here. It's just somebody buys that beanbag chair for that thing. I'll come on here. And,
There's a side bet. Please.
Yeah,
There is a side bet. And someone please buy the beanbag. Even if you give it to me, I will use it every day on the show.
Yes.
I'll sit right here like a little child on that beanbag.
Craig might shave in his chest. Somebody bought the beanbag chair.
I'll come over there and I'll personally pop that beanbag chair if you get it.
Another one.
Well, how about if somebody buys it, we'll sign it. We just need to sell the beanbag chair.
All right.
But
thank you for watching this show. Stay tuned here, and we're going to do a reset. We're going to be back in about 20 minutes. We are going to be having our next guest on. This one's going to be pretty cool. You know, Trap Game and special guest host Joe Wilkes. So
Joe Wilkes.
Stay tuned. We will be back on this. Go get that popcorn. Go get those drinks. Get set ready to go. This is round 2 from Sunday. So
part 2.
Tune in. Thank you guys for everybody for watching. We'll see you shortly.